By the end of this video, you will have everything you need to take your voice AI agency to $10,000 a month. My name is Alejo, and I've sold over $500,000 in voice AI systems. These 10 modules is everything you need, and the order of these modules is very intentional. We're going to start with the mindset that usually destroys agencies before they even start. What to sell, what are the easiest things to sell that are the most desirable things to buy for clients. Then we're going to find your advantage in the market. We're going to talk about warm outreach, and obviously we're also going to talk about cold outreach. Then we're going to, I'm going to show you how I leverage Claude Code for sales. We're going to talk about pricing your system the right way, managing discovery calls and closing sales. And then I'm going to show you a path, a 3 to 6 month path for you to get to $10,000 a month. I do recommend that you get through all of these. I am very intentional with how I prepare these lessons. But if there's only one or two that really call your attention about these, go ahead and jump to those. The chapters are below, but I am going to sprinkle very important lessons throughout the full 2 hours. So I do strongly recommend that you make the time for it. Because by the end of it, we're going to bring everything together, and how we're going to hit this goal of $10,000 a month is going to make sense. And more importantly, you're going to be able to start executing today. And one more thing before we start, this is not for everyone. If you want to build agents for fun 2 hours a day, if you're looking for a magic button, this is not for you. This is for people who are willing to do whatever it takes, work 8, 10, 12 hours a day, invest in their business, message their warm network, handle rejection. So if you are ready to do whatever it takes, let's get into it. Before we dive in, all the resources you're going to see in this video, the specific outreach messages, the Claude Code Agency Accelerator project, the client dashboard, they're all accessible through the school community. Is the first link below, and there's a free trial because I want to make it accessible for everybody. But if you decide to stay, I guarantee you that I'll help you get your next client. Now let's dive in. The number one thing that is blocking agency owners from actually getting sales is this belief that they need to build more and finish the product before they start selling. And I see it all the time, especially with developers with heavy tech backgrounds who spend 3, 4, 6 months building the product that nobody asked for, that they hypothesized that the market needed. And then when they're ready to launch, the market already moved on. There's already a super cheap solution for that problem, for that platform that they built. And we are in a very fast moving market. And you don't need to be a developer to fall in this trap. That's why this is a mindset shift, where the people that have done the best that I have met and coached are the ones that sell before they build. So they start by having conversations. They go test the market. Like, what is the market needing? Someone says, yes, I have that problem. Or no, I don't have that problem. But you know what has been a problem for my business? And then suddenly, light bulb. Okay, so they go build exactly what that client needs. And by the first month, they have the first paying client. I've seen this all the time, but not enough, because people tend to fall in this trap, the builder trap. The lesson is you can't build what the market wants if you don't find out what the market wants. And it all starts with one conversation. Are you allowed to have a demo before you have that conversation? Sure, if you've already built it, but don't let it be a blocker from that first conversation. Most of your time has to go to starting conversations. How? That's what we're going to get through in model 4 and 5, which is warm outreach and cold outreach. But I do need to be very honest with you. I had a very unfair advantage. I had 8 years of experience in AI before anybody cared about AI. It was only researchers and large companies that cared. So I was bringing that experience in. But everybody has an edge. Yours is going to look different than mine, but everybody does. And here are a few examples from people that I've personally coached. My friend Bilal knows gym owners personally. He likes going to the gyms, is what he does. And then he started building for them because he already was in that world. So that was part of his network, that was his advantage. Then where do you live? Our student Bargavi lives near Niagara Falls and in the Canadian side. Okay, well, there was no one doing that there specifically for dental clinics. So she took on that market. She found the advantage based on where she lived. And then industry. You might have had clients in the past from some other venture, past coworkers. So what is your edge is what I'm going to help you find out. So that's the mindset shift that you're going to need. And this mindset shift is really one of abundance, is the fact that there are people out there, there are businesses out there that have a need related to voice AI. And you just haven't found it yet, but you're going to, and I'm going to show you how. But the question that most people ask when starting out is, what do I sell? What is easy to build, easy to sell, that makes money for businesses? So let's look at the 3 easiest things to sell, not only on the easy to build, but also very attractive for customers. So number 1 is going to be speed to lead. Why speed to lead? There's so many businesses that receive leads through forms, be it ads on Instagram, forms on their website. And what happens in almost every single business is they let the lead wait. Not because they want to, it's because they just don't get to it fast enough. So this system, this speed to lead system, catches a lead at the moment they come in. The AI calls them within 60 seconds, and they move forward in the sales process. You can't build this if you don't know who you're building it for. Why? Because what is their sales process? What is their CRM? Is there a human that follows up after? Do they book appointments, or is it just a product that they sell online? They just want the lead to, answer some FAQs. This varies from business to business. So even though there's a million ways you could build this, in the next few modules, I'm going to help you narrow it down so you are sure of the value, you can communicate the value, but you're building what people actually want. And an example pitch for this is very simple. When someone fills out your contact form, our AI calls them before they even close the browser tab. You'll never lose a hot lead again. Another angle for this is that no more leads will go to your competition, which is kind of more of a fear-driven approach. We'll talk about pitching later on, but I wanted to kind of simplify it for you. Huge use case, a lot of money being lost, so a lot of revenue opportunity for businesses. We're going to talk about the state of the market and why revenue opportunities versus AI for productivity is so important. Another revenue opportunity for businesses is after hours inbound. So the office is closed, lead calls in, nobody answers. That lead goes to the next business down in the Google Maps section that they were searching for. Instead, the solution answers that call, captures the lead, and then whatever the business might want, maybe to book an appointment, maybe it's, hey, we got you, we hear this problem, and somebody will be in touch with you tomorrow, so just wait for that call. The kind of pitch, the user story, as I like to call it, is it's 9 p.m. and a potential client just called your firm. Instead of voicemail, our AI answers, qualifies, and books a consultation for tomorrow morning. Very powerful, very intuitive for a business, and very low entry. It's very easy to say yes to this because there is no receptionist to answer the phone. You either lose the call or you don't. Which one do you want? It's a very, very intuitive. And finally, database reactivation. I am super bullish on database reactivation. In both of these cases, speed to lead and after hours inbound, there's leads coming in. Those leads might not become clients immediately, even if you have these systems set up. They might need time. Maybe they were just looking for information and wanting to go compare other competitors. But what happens with businesses is leads start accumulating and they don't contact them again. Most businesses maybe contact a lead once and then completely forget about them. So the opportunity here is in these thousands of untouched leads sitting in their CRM. And the pitch is you've spent thousands acquiring leads that went cold. Our AI calls through your old database and brings back the ones who are ready now. Many leads, not the majority, but some of these thousands of leads are going to be ready now. That is free money just sitting there. And it's an incredible value proposition for the clients because really they have nothing to lose. We're gonna get to how much do they pay for this? How much do you charge? What if you book per appointment or per month? We're gonna get to all of that. So patience. But I wanted to answer your question, what should I sell? Well, you can start here. These are very intuitive for you. They're very intuitive for clients, and they're relatively easy to build. During this whole sales masterclass, we're not gonna get into how to build them. I made a full guide on that. I'm gonna leave the link to that 7-hour masterclass that does talk about sales, but mostly talks about building systems. So let's talk about systems. These are not agents, these are systems. Agents are a commodity. Now agents you can buy for $40 a month. You're not gonna make a business like that, at least not in the state of the market. But systems that are built for businesses, for a specific persona, those are powerful and businesses are willing to pay for that. But this is really, really important for you to keep in mind. Although you will pick one, build that, and then that's going to be your product so you can focus on selling, the highest value products are not agents. They're not a speed to lead agent or after hours agent. They are systems, okay? How businesses actually make money is through systems that work. So if you're saying, hey, I do voice AI agents, it's not gonna resonate with a lot of people, either because they don't understand it or because there's not much value in an agent. What is an agent? A prompt with tools. Okay, well, Claude Code can build you that. So if you wanna really stand out and build a business that generates money for other businesses, then you need to build systems. For example, and I will get deeper into this later, for example, you can also run ads for a business that brings in the leads that your agent calls fast in order to convert them faster and increase conversion rate. Then you're selling results from the core, from the root, which is finding the leads and converting them. That will fetch a much higher price than a sale voice AI agents. But that's not where you are now, and that's okay. But I want to give you a hint of where we're going and what does your final product going to look like. So pick one, build a rough demo, not perfect, please, just rough demo. And that's your product for the next 90 days, okay? There's nuance to this, and obviously you can change direction whatever you want, but don't get stuck in the building trap. 2026 is different than 2025, 2024, when voice AI was starting to pick up. Why? In 2024, it was really about like, oh my God, it answers the phone? That's insane. 2025 was like, oh wow, it connects to my CRM, it puts the leads in there, that's cool. It was all conceptual. It could do this. It now has the capability to do this. 2026 is all about proof. Because there has been so much hype around AI, people, businesses especially, are not willing to just trust what you say. So you need proof. But if you're just starting out, well, where is your proof? Why would anybody trust you? That's why it's something for you to strongly consider that your first client could be free. How do you find that first client? Patience, we will get to it. But we are in a space where if there's no proof, then there is no trust. I mentioned Bilal earlier. How he got his first client was offering a free month for the gym, who is a gym owner friend, in exchange for a testimonial, in exchange for this proof. So, hey, I do this for you for free, and then if it works, then you give me a testimonial. Everybody wins. So your first client is your proof. This doesn't mean you have to offer it for free. It just means that this is a place to start. Can you still charge for your first client? Absolutely. But please don't get stuck in the middle. It's free or it's properly valued. I'm going to show you properly valued in the later sessions, in session 8. But the in-between is death. And one of the coaches in our community where we're coaching people to build agents, scale their agency, my friend Zach, his first client, he fell in that in-between trap where he didn't want to do it for free. It wasn't intuitive for him, but he didn't want to charge too much because of fear that the client would say no. So he ended up charging $250. And you know what happened? He got in a space of building it and refining it for 3 months because it was his first thing. It took so much time and frustration and a a client that was like, well, I paid you for this. And it's true, although it's very little money. So for 3 months, he couldn't focus on anything else. And that was almost death for his agency because he couldn't go sell. He couldn't go build other things because he was too focused having to deliver for this client that barely paid him any money. So please, it's either free or it's properly valued. Then clear scope and timeline. There's something in software engineering called scope creep. It's like when the client starts telling you, oh, but can it do this? And oh, I have this idea. Let's do it. Let's make it do this and this and that. And that is very dangerous. You're going to want to say yes, either for fear of losing the client or the client saying no, or because you're actually enthusiastic and you want to prove it to yourself and prove it to others that you can do this. Yes. And you can. The technology is very much there. All you have to do is learn how to use it. But this is very dangerous because you scoped the initial project, and I'm going to show you how. You scoped the initial project to what is supposed to be built. If you start out and then the client tells you, hey, but can it also do this? And then you say yes, and then nothing else, he's going to expect that you build it. That's a problem because you didn't say, yes, but it's going to cost you this much more. Yes, but let's keep it for a later phase. Let's finish what we have started, and then we will add things on top, which is the right way to do it. Then timeline, make sure you're very generous with your timeline, especially for this freeware, because you're still exploring, right? You haven't built a full system that works in the real world first. So be mindful of giving yourself generous time and learning to say no from the beginning. No but, not right now. Those are magic words that will help clients have more respect for you, and it's your opportunity to educate them. This is not you just build things on top. It's we build it, we launch it, we prove that it worked, and now we can start thinking about new things to do. Then ask for the testimonial early on if they're already happy. Hey, are you happy with how the agent is working? It's been live for 2 months, for 2 weeks. You have 2 more weeks for free. Would you be comfortable writing a testimonial or making a very quick video for me now? Do it before the free month ends. After the month ends, it just, you're going to be chasing them. They're going to have no incentive in doing it. So that's a piece of advice. Yeah, what works, right? That's what I'm here to teach you. And then paid pricing ready to go. Before this free month ends, or you might offer 2-3 months for free, make sure that you communicate. If you want to continue afterwards, this is how much it's going to cost you. And when we get to pricing, you're going to get more of that. So this is how you get that proof that is so valuable in the market nowadays. So far, I've shown you 3 solutions you can sell, the ability to get proof by doing a free pilot for a client. And now I'm going to show you something that is a different avenue, but could be very valuable if you have a lot of people that don't quite understand the technology, you're not sure how to quite explain it and how it's going to work for them, which is AI audits. You can always offer a free AI audit. What is an AI audit? It's essentially analyzing, this is the situation of your business. Here are the opportunities for you to integrate AI. This goes beyond voice AI. You are going to have to do heavy learning to understand all the different tools that exist and how they are applied to businesses. But this is really a process audit. You would be surprised, even businesses that make a lot of money, you'd be surprised how messy it is inside. They take notes on paper or still manage Google Sheets that they send by email to one another. So this process audit this is what's going wrong with your business. You do interviews with people, and then you're able to create an assessment. So you find their gaps, and by the end of this, they will trust you. And you will understand their business. You will understand where the opportunities actually are. And if you genuinely find that voice AI is their best opportunity to start with, their lowest hanging fruit with highest returns, then great, wonderful. You might find other opportunities there for you to recommend. But do you have to implement everything that you recommend? No. There's always people that you can partner with that might do the implementation of a chatbot, a new website, the voice agents. And for my student Crystal, who I've coached for a while and that we taught to do AI audits, it opened up a lot of doors for her. People in her circles weren't ready to implement a system in their business like voice AI, but then they were very open when she did some AI audits, actually paid AI audits. They were very open to her recommendations because she had a full view of their business, but she also brought another expertise that the business didn't have, which is how do you use AI? To simplify this for you, and for you to be able to hit the ground running, my friend, old client, very good partner and friend, Jeremy Christosik, shout out to Jeremy, created a tool called Oddity. And this is an excellent tool. It essentially streamlines how you do this audit. It takes very little knowledge to start, and it makes it so you don't have to spend 10, 20 hours doing an audit, and instead a few hours till you have very strong insights for your client. Today's video is not about AI audits, but if you are interested in starting there, I'll leave a link for you below, and you can always book a call with a founder, so you really understand what it is, how it works, and figure out if this is for you. We're going to talk about investing in your business. The tools I'm going to show you are not always cheap, but in understanding what is the direction that you're going to take your agency, what type of agency do you want to be, is part of what I'm going to show you, and I'm going to give you clarity. So let's recap. We talked about what to sell, the different solutions that you can start with that are very easy to understand for you and for your client. And we also talked about possibly starting for free. Maybe there's a friend of a friend or a friend of yours that has a business like, hey, can I do this? I want to learn how to do this properly. I'll give you a month for free, 2 months for free. And then you give me a testimonial if you like it. Very easy to start. It'll give you proof and it'll help you launch your agency as fast as possible. We also talked about an alternative avenue, which is for some people a distraction, for some people it definitely clicks, which is AI audits and a tool that you can use, Oddity, to really get started with that. 2 modules down, let's keep it going. So now let's find your edge. Let's understand the state of the market. The market is still really, really small. Small compared to what? Well, the market is about $3 billion. There are businesses putting about $3 billion in that they're paying for voice AI use cases. This might be to companies, to agencies, etc. But this is expected to grow about 15x. This is the lower estimate. That's going to grow about 15x over the next 8 years. There's a lot of funding surge. This is less what we're worried about. This is more Silicon Valley stuff. But businesses are spending more money. And why would they listen to you if there's already so much competition? Well, remember this number. The amount of businesses that are going to take on voice AI, spend money on voice AI, is going to grow a lot exponentially compared to the last few years. So you are not late. And this is where the conversation of niches comes in, where most niches don't really have any specialized voice AI vendors. And we need to get out of kind of our heads that dental clinics is a niche and law firms is a niche. No, those are industries. There are hundreds of niches within those industries, and I'm gonna help you find yours. Is that for the place for you to start? Well, for some people, yes, for some people, no, depending on what your edge is. So let's talk about the 5 dimensions of your edge. First, the question is, if Claude Code can build any agent nowadays, what makes your agency irreplaceable? Number one, we're in a space where distribution is way more important than product. Just go look at all the other cheap solutions out there that have hundreds or thousands of customers. Why? Because they got to them first, or they got to them with better marketing, or they're running on a lot of ads. It doesn't matter in 2026 how good or bad your product is. to get customers. Once they become customers, then make sure your product is solid, and I'm happy to help you make sure that you can deliver the right product with the right quality. But distribution is beating quality of product. So everyone has the same models, same latency, same prompts. Retail is really good for everybody. So if you have distribution and nothing else, you can find someone to build. This is why we're in this mentality of sell first, build later. And if you have a product with no distribution, then you don't have a business. So how are you getting in front of buyers is the question that has to be on top of mind all the time until you are making so much money that now you're like, okay, wait. Let me figure out how to make my product more perfect.
What other verticals can we go to that we haven't touched on before? But I'm getting ahead of myself.
The next thing that can give you an edge, an advantage over everybody else is CRM partnerships. There are voice AI solutions out there that are about $49 a month, but a deep CRM integration can't be undercut by those $49 a month solutions. What is this deep CRM integration? Well, this is where you have to kind of forget about voice AI in general, agencies. Think about the businesses that will serve you, that you will serve. Those businesses have processes, have CRMs, have people that they've hired, have a receptionist and an operations person and a CEO. What systems do they use? Most serious businesses use a CRM where they see all the leads come in, where they manage them, where they email them, and what helps them essentially move deals forward. If you ever heard of HubSpot, Go High Level, those types of CRMs. If they already use CRM X, they're gonna lean towards the solutions that exist in that marketplace. And the first time that this really clicked for me is when we attempted to get into the real estate market for real estate agents. And we found the CRM, Follow Up Boss, really cool CRM. And what we realized is that, wait, if we could get into their integrations marketplace, then we would get in front of so many people. It would take care of the distribution. What an insight. And then we can just go build the product better and better, understand, wait, but they also want text messages. Great, let's add that to a product because we have already solved distribution, which is the biggest challenge nowadays. Now, Follow Up Boss, after 2 years after we found them, has 250 plus integrations. This might not be the most latent opportunity for you. But once you get a first customer, once you get a second customer, you're going to start asking good questions like, well, what CRM do you use? And are you happy with that CRM? And what does that CRM not have? And they'll say, well, I wish that your product could just put the leads in my CRM. Light bulb goes off. That's the opportunity. And that's one differentiation in the market, your edge. So which CRM in your niche has weak marketplace, but great customer base? We're going to talk about niches and how to select one, if you have to select one, in just a second. This trust architecture, I'm going to keep coming back to trust. I'm going to keep coming back to building relationships. Everything online feels fake. Ads are fake. They're made by an AI. Social proof is fake. You can create videos that look real and write text that looks legit from company X, but it's not. And there are two opportunities for you here. CRM, being a CRM marketplace, but also conferences. How can you build trust by default? And pitching your services in LinkedIn, please trust me, is not the way. How can you build trust by default? Meeting somebody face-to-face nowadays, it's actually quite unique, unfortunately, but conferences is one place to do that. And this is trust by default, where you met face-to-face, you're both in the same place, you feel like you can trust each other, unless you give the other person a reason not to. Being in the CRM marketplace, instant credibility. So what conference in your industry of choice, niche of choice, has no voice AI vendors right now? Or if they do, what do they lack that could be your opportunity? Then, knowledge capture. Claude can build anything. Your industry expertise, though, can't be replicated. the more you work with one type of client in one industry, in one niche, and perfecting one solution, that expertise that you get conversation by conversation, mistake by mistake, and Claude Code can't replicate that. So that gives you an edge to find people that when they see your thing, they're like, oh yeah, that's the thing I need. They know me, they understand me. You can sell to them at higher prices. And the big question, what your edge is what do you know that generic AI companies, the AI receptionist, never will? And number 5 is the early market arbitrage. This illusion of saturation. What you see in your LinkedIn is your bubble, is not the rest of the world's. I thought that I was late in 2024. There is a market that is about to absolutely explode, and you need to be on top of it, but you need to start now. So most industries are still early adopters. Where you end up implementing your system and getting that expertise should be focused on one type of user, one type of client, and you can get the advantage in that market, in that niche. And if you don't know what your niche should be yet, that's okay. Let's get to that part. Here are some of my recommendations, but more importantly, how you should assess a niche, of whether a niche is worth going after or there isn't much potential. I'm gonna give you some good ones, I'm gonna give you some bad ones. But let's go to the criteria. First, high AOV. This means high average order value. The business receives a client and they receive a sizable chunk of money for what they sell. Lawyers, for example, receive a lot of money for each of their services. Dental clinics, usually each service that they sell is expensive. Med spas is another one. Coffee shops and restaurants, not very expensive, $5, $10. The next important thing to consider how good a niche is the margins. You want businesses with very high margins, meaning that what they charge for the service is much higher than what it costs them to deliver that service. For example, a dentist already studied for many years and already invested. Now, what it takes to deliver that service is the cost of the materials and the cost of their time. So they tend to have really high margins, but they charge hundreds or thousands of dollars for a treatment. Med spas, very similar. It might take 45 minutes for a treatment, but they charge $500 for those 45 minutes. Then roofing companies, they tend to have to pay for the materials and the work and the people. So they have medium margins, and then coffee shops and restaurants, they tend to have very low margins. They need to do a lot of volume in order to make a little bit of money. Those are not very good to sell to, and they usually won't have the willingness or money to invest. Then, easy to contact. How easy it is to find those people, either in LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram. Where do they live? That is the part of the research that you need to do. Where do they spend their time? Real estate agents spend their time on Instagram, we have found. Where do roofing people spend their time? Well, that's something that you need to do research around. If you can't contact them, you can't sell to them. So that's the principle. And finally, easy to integrate. The thing about integrations is that businesses already have processes that work for them. If you're selling them a product, but they can't use it because it's not part of their process, they're gonna have a lot of reluctance to want to buy it, because then they have to train their whole team on this new platform, this new software, how it works, make mistakes, as opposed to, yeah, it's already in our CRM. You just click here and you can see the calls happening here and the booked appointments here. So it'd be much easier if it takes very little time and effort to train the business, train the team on how to use your product. There is, I think, one mistake here. For dental clinic, they don't tend to have easy systems to integrate into. You have to think about HIPAA compliance. You have to get familiar with that. You have to learn their CRMs. Most of them do not have open integrations where there's an API and you just ask Claude Code to create the integration. So
Maybe there's one mistake here, which is how easy it is to integrate into dental clinics. But other than that,
Generally, it's not very easy to integrate into specific niches unless they use a very generalistic CRM like HubSpot. HubSpot is a CRM that tailors to any industry. You can make HubSpot into anything that you need. Go high level. It applies to any industry. So where is your edge in all this, and specifically in integrations? Is that if you integrated with HubSpot already, say for another client, now you could go sell only to companies that use HubSpot. And when you tell them, hey, I already integrated with HubSpot, my product already works with your system, they'll be much more leaning towards accepting working with you. So that is something for you to consider. So how much do they charge for their services? How much margin do they have? How easy it is to get in touch with them, and how easy it is to integrate into their systems. This is something worth doing research with Claude on the niches that you are considering. But this is essentially a little map for you to start off of. And you will have this artifact in the description that you can go to the school community and then download this. You can give it to Claude and say like, okay, let me help me find what are the advantages for myself. And this is what I want you to focus on achieving for this finding your edge. Who are you going to help? What kind of business are you going to help? I put a couple options here, but this is really open and up to you. But multi-location dental clinics, you need to be specific. It's not just dental clinics. Okay, where and how do they work? What systems do they have? Do they have one location or multiple? Independent med spas, local roofing companies. Great. That is specific enough to start with. What are you going to help them achieve? So let's say multi-location dental clinics achieve what? Convert more leads into clients, never miss another call, reactivate their dead database. So this, you'll see, maps to each of the solutions that I showed you in what to sell. You have the speed to lead to convert more leads into clients, after hours to not miss calls, and then database reactivation to convert dead leads into clients. Let's go with the speed to lead use case, which is the convert more leads into clients. And how do you do that? Deploying an AI phone agent that answers 24/7, building a speed to lead system. Maybe we can get more specific with that. What more value driven, and automating their follow-up calls. Okay, let's say by automating the follow-up calls without hiring more staff, expensive call centers, complex technology. Let's say without complex technology. So we make it very easy for them to integrate. So why do you want a statement like this? You need clarity on what it is you're building, what it is you're selling. And this type of statement can help you communicate to others. And although it does read like a billboard, like marketing in a billboard, you want to have a lot of clarity on this because it helps you identify your ideal client profile. What value do you deliver to them? What is your system, and how are you different, right? How are you going to make it very easy for them to do this? This is a lot, so let's take a deep breath. This is what I want you to take from this. You don't need to have your niche locked down today or this week, but you do need to have a use case picked out, okay? Through the conversations and what you find most valuable, you will find other people. It's just like, yeah, database reactivation, free money. Absolutely, I want that. Great. Let's move forward with that. And then you do it once, you do it twice, maybe with your own network that we're about to step into. And you realize, you know what? I enjoyed doing this niche way more than that niche. The types of conversations, the experience, the people in it. I want to do this. And that's how you really find what the right niche for you is. And then through those experiences, you might realize, oh, there's this one CRM that I had never heard of that this client used. It's very particular. It seems hard to integrate, but I figured it out. Are other businesses in that niche working with that CRM? And if you don't have any competition, like I showed you in the integration marketplace, if you don't have any competition,
oh, that might be an opportunity for you. So the opportunities will come to you. You need patience,
but you need to start moving today. So choose a use case that resonates with you. And if you want to learn how to
really build that use case, I did a full course on how to build and sell these agents. But the first 3-4 hours of that course is full into building. We do speed to lead, we do after hours inbound, and we do database reactivation. We do all three in that video. So I'll leave that link down below for you to check out later. Remember, sell first, then you can go build it, okay? Figure out what you want to sell, go have those conversations. We'll get to building later. All these people that I've been mentioning, Bilal, who landed his first gym client through a friend, Zach, who went from charging $250 and almost killing his agency, to now recovering hundreds of thousands of dollars for dental clinics. These and many more success stories are people who I've been personally mentoring through our school community. We started this community because we saw a lot of people in pain who were going through videos, learning how to prompt, but never really learning how to make a business out of it. So that's our guarantee to you in the community, that we will help you land your first client or your next client within 90 days. The roadmap that I am showing you is definitely possible if you're ready to go all in. But for some people, it might take longer. So how do we help you build a real business? Number one, we have every week sales hours where we do sales coaching for your specific situation. We also have build hours twice a week where you can bring your technical issues, agents that are broken, how to build a system, and we tackle it together one-on-one while everybody's also learning. And then we have technical workshops on Wednesdays. Then we have a community where people bring their issues, what is going on with them, and asking for help or sharing wins. And finally, the classroom. We have the build, sell, and deliver stages. This is exactly what you're going to need in order to build your first agent, understand how to sell it, along with this masterclass, which is a massive summary of this stage. And then the deliver stage. What does it actually look like to deliver for a client? How do you connect telephony? How do you actually get things to work? We've done it ourselves, we've taught it ourselves, and then we templatized it so you can do it too. So remember that there is no secret. Everybody's business is different, everybody's situation is different. That's why I and the community are here to help you scale yours. Now let's get into the good stuff. Now, let's move on to the next section. We talked about finding your edge, and that might be different for you than for the next person over. But one of the beautiful things is, who do I know that could introduce me to somebody else? And that is what warm outreach is all about. You don't ask your friends to be your clients. You just ask them, who do they know that has a problem that your system can solve? So you are just looking for people to help. And if it resonates with you, finding that first free client that you can do a pilot with, that will give you the proof to go expand into beyond your warm network, then this approach might be excellent for you. Let's dig into it. The warm outreach strategy is absolutely the best way to get your first few clients. And you'd be surprised how much of a mindset shift it is. And you having an effective warm outreach strategy is part of that mindset shift. For example, I know what you're thinking. I don't have a relevant warm network, at least not for AI agents, right? So the first thing that we need to shift is, who is your warm network? Number one, anyone who won't think, who is this, when they receive a message from you. That is your warm network. We are not trying to sell to them. We just want to figure out if they know somebody who has any relevance to what you're doing. We're going to talk about where to find those contacts. Then I'm going to give you some message templates that are very friendly. They're my tone. They're just very casual. You're not selling anything to anybody. Please don't turn this into a marketing message, even for cold outreach. And then we're going to talk about how do we make this strategy work for you.
So, where to find the warm contacts?
There's 5 main places that where I've implemented this strategy and where they're kind of universal that anybody has these.
First, LinkedIn.
We're going to look for your second connections in LinkedIn. These are essentially the connections of your connections. I'm going to show you a great strategy for this. Number 2, your calendar.
I got this advice from my coach, which was, I realized
How many contacts I had in my calendar because I have meetings with people.
and I've had for years, even before I had an agency. So then what I did is I exported
The calendar, which I'm going to show you how to do. And then I had this list of like 1,000 emails.
even if for you it's 100 or 50,
This can be very fruitful because these are the warmest people you have had meetings with. And this is how you do that. It's very easy. Go to your calendar. You're going to click on the gear, settings, go to export right here. You choose which calendars you want to export, and you click export. Great. And that's that. Then you're going to give it to Claude. You're going to just upload the file, give it to Claude, and it's going to be able to extract all of the contacts that you had meetings with. Then WhatsApp. There's 2 ways to do this. Obviously, your individual contacts, but also WhatsApp groups. Do not underestimate the power of posting in a group. Not posting your pitch. Again, please, this is not about pitching and getting clients. No. It's about having conversations with the right people. So I'm going to show you the message that I use, that I drop into messages, which it invites people to want to help you as opposed to like, oh, what is he trying to sell?
Then Instagram, I'm also going to share some DMs
That you can adapt to yourself.
and phone contacts, right? Either text messages
or WhatsApp. You can start scrolling and you will be amazed at how many people
you actually know, even though you thought that you don't know anybody and you've never had any friends.
the amount of things that I've heard around, like, I don't have a warm network. And then we pull up their phone and there's just dozens, hundreds of people that are relevant. So that is where we will find your warm contacts.
Then let's get into some message templates.
These are super, super helpful to unblock your brain.
It can be awkward for oneself to start messaging friends, asking for something, but that is part of the mindset shift.
All we're doing is asking, who do you know that I could help? So you are the one offering help. Here's a message you could drop into a group chat. Anyone know any, say, dentist?
Anyone know any dentists? I'm building something for them and would love some early feedback. Okay, cool. This is you. You're building something. You want some early feedback. It makes complete sense. You're not pitching anything.
And what might that intro look like from your friend?
So there's you, there's your friend, and there's the second connection that you want to get connected with, say a dentist. This is what that could look like. Somebody says in that group, yeah, I know a dentist. Everybody knows a dentist. And this is what they would message then. You know, if you're in that group chat, just message your friend privately. And you can say something along the lines, hey, this is what I'm looking for.
This is how I think my platform can help. So if you could send something like this message, I think this would communicate something valuable to them. So, hey, David, my friend is working on something that could help dentists with, say, we talked about reactivate their dead database and bring clients back, right? Bring patients back.
He'd love some early feedback, so I thought of you. Cool if I connect you two? So you can send this message to your friend to send to their contact. It's very casual, it's very simple, and it communicates
the reason. So this is only if you want to give a nudge, right? Hey, let me simplify it for you. This is what I mean. If you want to be even more vague, you can always just say instead, my friend Alejo is working on something related to your industry. He has questions about what you do. Could you share some time with him? Simple as that. Then That was for group message, right? Drop it in a group chat. Some people might actually know somebody. Then for 1DM, this applies to Instagram, WhatsApp, phone contacts, even LinkedIn in certain circumstances. There's a direct message to somebody you already know. Hey, Sarah, hope you're doing well. Quick question: do you know anyone who runs a dental practice? I'm working on something that helps them reactivate their dead database, and I'm looking for feedback. You can change any word of this, but remember the sentiment, right? This is, you're just asking a friend if they know somebody because you are working on something that could help somebody that they know. Usually, they'll be willing to help. How do you make sure you can get clients this way and you don't burn contacts? Well, this is really easy, very open. It's non-committal, right? So there's no bridges that are going to be burned through these messages. Then the next one is the ask for intro through LinkedIn. So let me show you something that most people don't know. I'm surprised that they don't know because it's so powerful. So you're on your own LinkedIn, you go to My Network, then you're gonna go to Connections, and you're gonna click on Search with Filters. By default, the first connections, your friends, are gonna be selected. So instead, we're gonna click on Second Connections, and thousands or tens of thousands are gonna come up because this is everybody that knows who you know. So if you have even 50 connections and they have 100 connections, you end up with thousands and thousands of people in this list. So how do we narrow them down? This is where I'm gonna unselect first, so only people that we know in common. Okay. So this is where you knowing what you are doing, building, what you're looking for really comes in. Who do you want to message of all the people that are going to show up? Who do you want an introduction from? So we're going to go to all filters, and here is where you can find all the possible filters. You can have locations, right? Maybe it's a city. Let's go with New York. Metro, beautiful. Then connections of, so maybe you're looking for specific friends and who they know. Followers of, past companies, a school. Maybe you're looking for people who are second connections of you that went to your school. So let's check that out. I went to SUNY Plattsburgh. And then industries. Let's do dentists. Although I don't know that dentists are on LinkedIn. So maybe this is not the best place to find dentists, but maybe Instagram might be a place. But we have English, and now we show results. So the second connections who are in New York, who went to my college and are dentists, is what comes up. I'm gonna remove my university because there's not really any purpose. And there you go. A bunch of people show up. In this case, I have 2 pages of people that are in New York, are dentists, and we have a friend in common. So right there, we found about 16 people, just like that. And I'm gonna give you 2 avenues to get in touch with them, okay? The first one is you ask for an intro from the person that you have in common, the connection in common. Hey, Sarah, I saw you're connected with David on LinkedIn. Would you be open to introducing us? I'm building something for dentists and would love some early feedback from someone in the space. That's what I recommend. This works incredibly well. The other opportunity you have is to just message the second connection directly. Hey, David, how do you know Sarah? How did you meet? We went to college together. You can have a bunch of different things, work at the same company, met at a conference, grew up in the same town, are in the same WhatsApp group. Thanks for connecting. Would love to hear about your experience in dental and roofing, med spa. So you can leave that connection message right here, or you can add some more detail. And my preference is just leave it here. Honestly, the shorter, the better, as long as there's substance, right? Hey, we have a connection in common. How do you know them? And what that looks like is you click connect, and then you will add a note. There we go, note. So, hey, David, how do you know Sarah? We went to college together. Bam. and I hope it pastes correctly. Hey, David. Yeah, it's a little messy, but you get the point. I will leave this whole artifact in the descriptions, in the school link, and you can go get it from there. So that's the message templates. I hope that it gives you a lot of answers and peace of mind about how do we approach the people that you know and the people that they know. LinkedIn is my favorite. So now the outreach funnel. This is where most people kind of mess up because it is also a volume game. So 100 messages, that is your challenge. You can send these in a day. You can space them out 20 a day for 5 days. This is where most people stop. They send 10 messages, they don't receive any answers, and it's like, I guess it doesn't work for me. I guess I don't know enough people, or I don't know the right people. That doesn't count. So go send these 100 messages. If you want to make a list, if you want to do 20 per channel, whatever you want to do, just act. Please, for the love of Christ, just act. Just get on there, send the messages, because most people will not answer. That is the reality. 7 out of 10 people will not answer. But those 30 responses, even if they're negative, even though they're, I don't know anybody, those are the ones that you're looking for. From those 30 responses, let's say 1 out of 3 actually leads to a conversation with a new connection. And let's say, 1 out of 3 or 1 out of 2 actually leads to a discovery call. They are the right person to talk to, and they do want to give you some time. And then from there, you might end up getting 1 or 2 clients. The whole point, and where I see the great value, is this. Yeah, planning clients is awesome, and yes, it's the goal. But you're going to learn so much during these discovery calls, and we're gonna run through how to do these discovery calls in a later module. But these are your best clients, okay? Not all clients are equal. There's easy clients, there's hard clients, there are clients that want to help you, there are clients that only want to see what value you can give them. These are the best types of clients because there's a relationship in the middle. They want to treat you well, just like you want to treat them well. And it is very easy to get a free pilot from these people. You learn from them, you learn a lot from them. You figure out if this is the right industry that you want to go into through that pilot. And it's very easy for them to say, to want to say yes, because you have a relationship in common that they want to protect and that you want to protect. So highly recommended, but do not stop until you can count 100 messages sent. Follow up fast when they respond. Be on top of it. Remember, this is a full-time job. It's not a side hustle. So you gotta be on top of it. You gotta be responsive. And trust me, this will work better for you than any other method out there. So we went through warm outreach. Now we're gonna talk about cold outreach. Can cold outreach work for you? Yeah. Does it take more time? Yes. Does it take more resources? Yes. Is it harder? Yes. That's why I recommend warm outreach. But once you get through warm outreach, once you get through your network, once you have a couple clients, now you want to have more expansion. Now you want to be able to scale. And cold outreach can be really good for that, as long as you have proof, as long as you have that first or second client. So discovery call and how we actually get somebody from a Zoom call to become a client, we're going to get through in modules 8 and 9. Right now, let's talk more about how to get people to start the conversations and jump on a call with you. So let's get into cold outreach. Remember what I told you was the most important factor that will make a client either buy or not buy? It's proof. So I strongly recommend that you do cold outreach once you have that proof, once you've had that first client you've delivered. Even if it's a free client, that is proof that what you do works. So once you have that, let's jump into cold outreach. Cold outreach is about scaling, and there are 5 methods that can work for you. They have different levels of difficulty, and they have different rates of conversion. These rates of conversion we derived through talking to a lot of people that have
created expertise in these methods, but also to beginners who tried those methods and didn't work for them,
and driving why they didn't work for them. Instead of bombarding you with a ton of information, I want to give you the strategies, I want to give you the tactics. And then if you have questions, you can put them in the comments below, and I'll happily dig deeper. First one, and this is my favorite, it's the Loom and LinkedIn strategy. This strategy is based on you doing outreach on LinkedIn to people that you don't have connections with, and essentially starting a conversation. This does take a lot of time, but the conversion rate is really good. And Matt Cohn, who I've done videos with and has come to the community to do workshops on this exact method, he's had tremendous success with this, and people that have tried it have also had really good success with this. So how does it work? You're going to go to your LinkedIn. In the same search that we did before, instead of second connections, we're going to do third connections. These are people that we don't have connections in common with, but they fall into the target market. The more specific you can be, the better. Dentists in New York City is definitely not specific enough, so keep playing with the filters. Maybe it's university that you have in common. You still need something in common if it's not a connection. And then we're going to scan. What do we find here? We have student, 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 student. Okay, that is not going to work. Let's go back to filters, figure out how we can narrow down to people who are actual dentists. It has actively hiring, current companies, connections, past schools, industries, dentists. Okay, well, what are we missing? Well, we're not actually looking for a dentist. So that's one small detail. So let's look for a dentist, and now they start popping up. Dentist in Kendall Park, cosmetic dentist, etc., etc. Now we can start moving forward. We can send a connection. Hey, I noticed we have this in common. How do you know we have this in common? Well, you open the profile, you go through it. This is where your location can be one of your biggest assets. Hey, I'm also in New Jersey can be the thing that you have in common. Or, oh, wow, I also speak German. Great. So anything that you can use to connect that will help the message that you will send. What message? Well, get inspired by this. This is extremely effective, right? Hey, David, I saw you're also in New Jersey, and my dentist is also in New Jersey. Right now, I'm just riffing because I've never actually done dental. But you want to find something that you have in common, and then you can open with that. What happens after you open? Well, what are they going to do? They're going to look at your profile. And what are they going to find when they look at your profile? So that is where you have to be aware of what is on your profile. What image are you giving? And will somebody understand what you do and what value you can give them by then looking at your profile? There are many layers to this. This is why we've done 2 full workshops just on this topic in the community. But that's the con. It takes serious time. I haven't even gotten to the Loom part. The Loom part is that when they accept your request, you're going to open up Loom, which is a screen recording service. You can open up their website. You can find them on Google Maps. And what you're going to do is essentially record the screen and say, hey, thanks for connecting. I actually got a chance to look at your website, and I saw that you have a form in that website. Well, I actually help dentists who have forms on their websites make sure that when they get filled out by a potential patient, we reach out to them immediately, we book an appointment so they don't go to the next dentist over in Google or Google Maps. I've done this for 2 other people, and they're getting about 10 more patients per month because of the system. Happy to jump on a quick call and show it to you. And then we go back to the reality of cold outreach. Most people will not be interested, but it's about volume. It's an incredibly effective method because when it resonates with people, it really resonates. If they're like, yeah, I'm down to jump on a call, they'll be way more open. They've already seen your face. You've been upfront with them about what you do without being pitchy. And this is very much an art. So it's something you can practice, it's something you can record yourself, but it's really just about doing it
over and over and over again until you get really good at it.
So yeah, it has a difficulty, like call it 3 out of 5, but conversion rate is higher than the difficulty, which is really, really important to look at. That is not the same for all cold outreach methods. Let's move on. Instagram DMs. Very low difficulty. You have an Instagram, very easy to message people on Instagram, very easy to follow somebody and then send them a DM. I recommend that you comment on their content first and then DM them. But again, don't be pitchy. Just you want to make a connection. You want to start a conversation. Our student in the community, Bilal, sent about 100 DMs and he got a 30% reply rate, which is excellent as cold outreach goes. The other thing, the con to this method, is that if you don't really work on a natural messaging that really sounds like you will absolutely get ignored. There are so many people getting drowned in marketing DMs, and you're gonna end up as one of the other messages if you don't actually put some intention into it. If you don't have a niche, then what is your intention, right? That message will tend to fall flat. It's too abstract, and it's like voice agents. Like, I've never heard of a voice agent. I don't know what you're saying, and they're gonna know they're just trying to sell me something. Okay. You want to know how to write that message? Go to the warm outreach messages. Get used to these. Put your tone into them, and then you can use those variations to send to cold people. In person, this is my favorite by far, maybe because I'm such an extrovert. So for in person, you want to think about meetup events for industry specifically, like a dentist meetup event, a lawyer meetup event. You also want to think about industry events like conferences. The amount of money that gets generated from agencies going to conferences is absolutely absurd. It's the most effective method by far for going from cold to client. It's not that difficult, really. You just need a demo that's like recorded that you can show if it comes up, and then go meet people like a human meets a human. It's not hard at all. The only obvious con is that it's really expensive. You have to do travel, tickets, time far away from building, time far away from other outreach methods that you might be trying. But man, it works really well. And as we speak, our third co-founder, Kevin, is going to a conference for lawyers right now because we know that this works. Okay, next, and a question that many people have is paid ads. So paid ads are not hard. Really, you just go to Meta Ad Library and you find ads for a certain field that you're interested, like dentists, and then you copy what's working. It's not very hard. However, it can get very expensive and the conversion rate is really low. Even if Meta is trying to optimize for clicks or booked appointments, the quality of the leads coming in, and we have run ads, the quality of the leads is abysmal. So what people confuse is that ads don't create success. If you have 0 sales, ads will likely also get you 0 sales. You have to have something that is already proven, that already works, you already have results, and then you scale with ads. So you need to already have the capital to invest, you need to already have the testimonials, and then you can start thinking about ads. So if you don't have any of that, stay away from ads, at least for the next 3, 6, 9 months. And then it might be at some point an opportunity for you if you have an offer that's good enough and you've really honed in on your unique value. And finally, cold calling. This one is the hardest one. The hardest to start, the hardest to get good at. And it has decent conversion rate. But my issue with cold calling is that even if you get people to agree to a meeting and show up to a meeting, which very rarely do, they're extremely skeptical. The moment they pick up, they'll usually know that you're trying to sell something unless you're really good at cold calling or you get really good at cold calling.
And when they show up to the meeting, what attitude do you think they'll have? If this is something that they got a cold call and now they're in a meeting, they're probably not even sure why they're jumping on the meeting, and then they'll be evaluating you, they'll be testing you. In the mind is, am I getting scammed? That is what is going through their minds. So if you have a talent for cold calling, great, go use it. There might be an opportunity there for you. And because I'm not a master of cold calling, I wanted to bring you the best person that I know for cold calling, who actually you might know from TikTok or Instagram, Amber King, who recently came to do a workshop with us at the community. So I want you to hear from her directly how to master cold calling. Amber?
My name's Amber. So we started a marketing agency, SMMA, and we managed to scale that one to 30K a month within 5 months. And that was all through cold outreach. The concept that I want to share with you guys is called the 5 vocal foundations. First vocal foundation is going to be your rate of speech. So simple. It's just how fast you talk, right? Because if I jump on this call and I'm starting to talk really, really fast about something, it shows that I'm passionate, right? I'm very excited. I hold so much passion for what I'm talking about. But then when I slow down, all of a sudden, the words that I say sound so profound. I didn't say anything important right there, though, right? So being able to utilize our rate of speech in a cold call, this is one of the biggest ones that make us stand out, because most people have a giveaway where they'll start dialing and they either talk really fast because they're nervous, and now the energy of them being nervous is being shown through the call. The vibe is nervous, awkward, and a bit rushy. And that's all being said just in your rate of speech because you're talking a little bit too fast. Cool. So that's the first one, your rate of speech. The second vocal foundation is your volume, just how loud you talk and how quiet you talk. If you call someone and you're whispering, let's maybe not whispering, but you're talking really, really quiet, you're showing them that you're probably not super confident in what you're talking about. Why? Because you're not comfortable allowing your voice to fill up space in a room. But then if we look at the other side of things, we all have that one friend in public where they just talk way too loud. Like there is some sort of social unawareness there and they're like a little bit obnoxious. Everyone has that one friend. So it's about finding the balance. Third vocal foundation is going to be your pitch. This is one of my favorite ones. Your pitch is how high you talk and how low you talk. So if I'm calling and I'm like, hey, John, it's just Amber calling. I sent you an email. It was either yesterday or the day before. I was just wondering if anyone had a chance to take a look at it yet. This is when we sound very robotic and no one wants to talk to someone that's extremely robotic. An upswing is when you end a sentence on a high pitch. A downswing is when you end a sentence on a low pitch. The high pitch is friendly, a high pitch is curious, and a low pitch is confident. A low pitch is assumptive. The fourth vocal foundation, this one is my favorite one. It's your tonality. Tonality is simply the emotion that lies underneath your words. If I put a big smile on my face right now, you guys can hear the smile through my voice. It sounds like I'm smiling. If I look pissed all of a sudden, I sound pretty mad right now, but it's just because I look mad. And if I look really curious, like the words that I'm saying, I sound really curious. The last vocal foundation is pausing. Knowing when to stop talking. This people lose a lot of sales because of this one. When we continue talking when a point has already been made, now you're telling them that you're not confident in what you said previously. Now you're telling them that you feel the need to justify whatever it is that you said. So that's the fifth one, pausing. Those are the 5 vocal foundations.
Thank you, Amber. So let's recap what Amber just taught us. So she went through the 5 vocal foundations, and I want to give you a visual so they really stick into your head. First, rate. It's about speaking fast. It's about speaking slow. I tend to speak really fast because I get very passionate, but I've also learned that speaking slow commands confidence. So I've been learning to take deep breaths and control how fast I speak. Number 2, volume. You don't want to go too high, but you don't want to go too low. Either one represents kind of a lack of confidence. So you want to sit at a 6, a comfortable speaking, you're talking to a friend. And then when you get to the tough
questions, you want to go quieter. Like, so Mr. Client, do you think that
this is a problem worth solving?
And there, I also mixed pitch, worth solving, instead of, do you think that's a problem worth solving? So when you ask questions, you want to go for curiosity with a high pitch, question mark. And when you want to create a statement, which is, this is a fact, you want to go low. This is definitely something worth practicing by yourself against a mirror, recording yourself. And that's how you really get good at it. Then tonality. This is the honestly easiest one. All you gotta do is smile and the tonality will naturally change. There's physiology around it, not gonna get into it, but if you speak with a flat face, the other person is absolutely going to get bored. If you speak with a smile, naturally your tone is gonna change and it's gonna impact how the other person feels, which is what we're going for.
Impact. And finally, a pause. This is something that I tend to fall into, which is I might ask a question and then keep talking. When what I really need to do is, Mr. Client, is that a problem that you think is worth solving? And then I shut up. And then I let them speak. And if objections come up, if issues come up, anything that might come up, I don't interrupt them. I don't speak. It is their turn. And they are giving me information that I can use in order to continue pushing the deal forward. So as Amber says, your vocal cords are 88 keys, you are a piano, and most people only play 1 or 2 keys in their whole life. You want to start with happiness, with a big smile, then get into curiosity because they do have a problem that is worth solving. And then when you come to the close, you think of stillness, think of confidence, think of speaking slowly. And when you ask a question, you let them speak. And as you might have realized, this does not only apply to cold calling. This applies to any call, any video, anything that where you're talking to a client. So thank you, Amber, for those beautiful lessons that you shared with the community. Now let's keep going. We just touched on cold outreach and we're about halfway through. So with the right mindset, knowing what to sell, finding your edge, and knowing how to reach out to your network and then for scaling for people outside your network. And then the next 5 modules are about closing deals. How are we going to use Claude Code for sales? How are we going to set your pricing for your system, not agents, systems? How you handle a discovery call when somebody agrees to jump on a call, how you handle objections, how do you close the sale? There are some really good tips from Hormozy here. And then finally, your 0 to 10K a month roadmap. Now let's get into the hottest topic, Claude Code for sales. I'm going to show you some systems that I've been using to manage all the different dimensions of my business. There's outreach to new leads. There's managing current clients, delivering for those clients. And what is it exactly that you're delivering? Well, it's going to build those systems as well. And then from the systems that we build for clients, we're going to be learning through something called skills. So Claude Code for sales. I created a Claude Code project that you can take, and I'll show you how after we're done with this section, which has everything that you will need to be able to manage your full agency, all the sides of your agency. Let's start with outreach management. We start here because this is the lifeblood of your agency. It's getting new clients. You can create a dashboard like this one with the same exact project that I'm going to share with you. With the project, you'll be able to very easily create something like this. So essentially it manages how many contacts you want to message, how many you have actually messaged, replies, calls booked, and people closed. Everybody's agency looks a little bit different. We manage leads through a CRM called Notion. You might do it a different way. This will give you the flexibility. The Claude project will give you the flexibility to
do it however you want to do it. If you're doing through email, if you're doing through LinkedIn, you'll be able to adapt the project to your outreach system. So this is how you can start keeping track, know who you follow up with, know who responded, etc. This is excellent because it gives you a visual component to the process of reaching out to leads. And it's also an accountability system because it's telling you, hey, they replied, we need to message them back. We need to send another message. This is excellent, and you're going to have to access to this, and I'll show you how later. Then lead generation at scale. This is something that we actually built for a client. So they hired us to create a system that was actually really high ticket, was one of our biggest sales ever. And it was so high ticket because this wasn't a voice agent that they were going to use to cold call leads. That doesn't have much value. This was a system that we helped them scrape Google Maps leads via Abify, specifically dental clinics in Dallas, Texas. So very specific. We found a few thousand businesses. Then we enriched those leads with Apollo API. This is a pretty expensive but very effective platform. So we get their email, their phone, how many employees work in that dental clinic, and then we get a bunch of contacts back. We filter those contacts to the type of dental clinic that we care about, how many employees they have, that they have a phone number, etc. And then we get a certain amount of qualified leads. And then we do the outreach. We message them on LinkedIn, we message them on email. And when we got a positive reply, it would trigger an AI that calls them and books an appointment. So we are mixing the cold outreach with the speed to lead for positive replies. We did not take on the risk of this project. The client put the investment. We put the systems together. So we were able to charge a lot of money with no risk. And it went really, really well, and it keeps going. And this is an example of a system that you can sell. The agent comes at the very end. It's like step 7, but the system is what really creates value for this client. Something like this is what you can create with Claude Code, and I will show you how right now. So once you get this project, you can just click the first link below and all the instructions will be there. You have a free trial for the community if you're not a part of it yet. All you're gonna do is gsd ::, and you're gonna look up the ad face, okay? This is a framework, is what we call it, an agentic framework within Claude Code that can help you create projects. It's not just deliver for this one client. It's not just build a voice agent or write a contract. It's all of it. So if you wanted a system like this one for a client, then I'm going to turn on my transcriber and say, I want to build an outreach system for a client that scrapes leads from Google Maps, enriches them, sends them emails and messages them on LinkedIn through connections. And then on positive replies, an AI agent will call them and finish booking the appointment for the client. You want to think about objectives, right? What's the objective? Booking an appointment for the client. And sure, yeah, you can share how to get there. These are the steps we want to follow. But focus when you talk with Claude Code on the final objectives. Get booked appointments. And this ad face is essentially another section of this whole project. You want to create a dashboard like this one? Great. You can talk to it and say, hey, create a dashboard for me to keep track of outreach. I'm sending emails and WhatsApp messages. You're going to add face and then continue from here. So now it's creating this new face, adding a new project. And it'll ask you questions as it goes along to clarify anything that it needs. What platforms are you using to send these messages, etc., etc. So you now have the power. All you need is the creativity, the determination to how big can I think? Your client says, hey, but can the agent also do this? and you can go find out if it's possible, or rather make it possible. So very, very powerful.
And that's the type of system that we use at Amplify Voice to find new clients and to deliver for those clients.
But then there's the step in the middle, which is closing those clients, jumping on discovery calls, show them the value.
And this is actually how I closed the client for searching for leads and booking appointments.
It was through what's called Claude artifacts.
What you're looking at right now is a Claude artifact. It's not a presentation. It's not a pitch deck.
It's an interactive artifact like the ones you've seen so far, where you can click and it changes colors, it focuses, unfocuses.
And they are very powerful because they communicate value. They communicate the complexities of a project.
So a person that is maybe less technical can actually grasp the value that you'll be delivering.
And this is the exact artifact that we used that surprised the client
in a very nice way, and actually led to us closing that project, that lead.
So we essentially walked them through a lot. There is a lot here. We don't have time, but this is what I showed the lead, which is this is going to be the pipeline. This is how we're going to put things together, how we're going to qualify leads, how we're going to verify emails. And then what you'll get is a Google Sheet with all the leads qualified. And if they are not qualified, we're going to have reasons why they were not qualified. Just showing them this completely switched their mindset from what can this person do for me? And it's like, oh, I want to see what this person can do for me. So it was extremely powerful, and I've been very bullish on Claude artifacts. Unfortunately, most people don't know about these. Everything I've shown you so far in this video is built with Claude artifacts. And the best part is that you can have your Claude project create a prompt for an artifact and then you just describe what you want. It'll have all the context of your project, all the context of your clients. So it'll be able to create a really good artifact. After that, what you're going to do is the output, the prompt that it creates, you're going to feed directly into Claude. This is what you were just seeing just now. And then I'm just going to essentially paste the prompt that Claude Code is going to create. And it'll create beautiful reactive artifacts like this one. So I already spoiled what comes next, which is contracts and proposals. These can take a lot of time. And I will give you a template that you can use for scope of work, which is essentially before you send the contract, you need to agree on what is actually going to be built. The scope of work is a lightweight form of a contract where the client says, yes, that is what I mean. And you can say, hey, I'm going to build this, but this is not what we're agreeing to build. So you can keep the scope focused on value to the client. And then if they ever come with like, hey, but can we also build this? You can always say, sure, we can build that, but for a later phase. Right now, our scope of work is this, and this is what we're going to deliver. So it helps you also protect yourself towards like clients that might have a lot of ideas, but scope creep is a thing and you want to avoid it. It will also help you, write follow-up emails, help you do an onboarding checklist, and write the final contract, essentially the service agreement. So you can save a ton of time, and I'll leave some templates for you with all the resources. So this is very powerful. I will also put those in the project, so you have them available as soon as you download this project. Okay, lovely. Number 5, building the actual systems. For these systems that we're talking about, they actually used to be super time consuming. It usually took us actually more than 2-3 weeks to build the system, even speed to lead agents with a single voice agent. There's a lot of manual testing. We were able to deliver to 1, maximum 2 clients at a time. And it was extremely straining. Every single build was trying to put everything together from scratch. With Claude Code, we can build a system for building systems. So we can deliver much faster. We have automated a lot of our testing, including with a platform called Secura that I've shown before. And we can handle so many more clients in parallel. Finally, although we've delivered to dozens of clients, finally we can think of,
hundreds of clients. We can finally do that. And that is really, really powerful and relieving because we've been looking for that opportunity for the longest time. So we found an opportunity in a really good niche that we're doing a very deep integration into. And when it comes to delivering for those clients as they come in, we've already created a system that delivers automatically. But it took us about 2 years to come here. So you're getting a massive speed up, a cheat code, if you will. So then comes the creating skills. Well, let's say that you do create a contract, right? And you send it and the person agrees. And it's your version of the contract. You might have my template, but now you've delivered that contract. What you can do is always say to Claude Code, create a skill based on what we just did. So you're deep into a conversation, you finished the contract, and then you say, create a skill based on what we just did. You send that message, and it's going to create a reusable skill. It's going to grab all the lessons from that contract, from the template, what did we change, what did we add, and it's going to create a skill that anytime in the future that you ask it, create a contract or create a voice agent system, it's going to pull up that skill and do that much better of a job. And if you've never seen a skill, it's what I just showed you. GSD, add face, that is a skill. And you always call them by typing the / command. And then you can see all the skills that you have available. So you can have a create a contract skill, create a voice agent skill, and anything else you imagine. There are a lot of dimensions to having an agency. So you are going to want to have many skills, one per dimension of your agency. And finally, I want to show you a full system. We're about to get into pricing. So we're going to figure out, what are we even selling? We are in a space where just selling a voice agent is not enough. You might be able to sell it for a couple $100 a month, but there's so much competition in the generic AI receptionist that they're always going to find a solution cheaper than yours. That's where choosing a niche, that's where finding your differentiation really comes in. And you know what's very different? A full system. What if you could find leads for businesses and close those leads? What are you giving them? What is the value that you're giving them? Qualified leads right there in their calendar. So how would you go about doing that? I'm going to activate my transcriber, and then I'm going to paste it into Claude Code. I want to create a system that delivers booked appointments with qualified leads to dental clinics. The offer that I want to create is essentially running ads for them, qualifying those leads when they fill lead forms or website forms by having the voice agent call them instantly, qualifying the lead, and booking the appointment. What I would like to do is to reach those dental clinics by generating ads based on the top performing ads in the Meta Ads library that currently exist. So you'll need to go do research about the best dental ads out there, and we're gonna get inspiration from the best designs and the best performing ads to create a website that we can show to dentists that we'll reach out to. And we're going to launch ads with those nice designs that we can show the client. Now we're going to go to Claude, new conversation, and paste that in. I'm going to delete this. Okay, beautiful. So that's what I just said. And we're going to go GSD, add a face. Again, you're going to have this skill directly in your system. So we have everything, but this is not going to work very well. And you know why? Because Claude and other AIs work best when they have specificity. This is a concept of a system. Who do we want to build this for? So what I'm going to do is go to Google Maps and find a dental office. So Maps, Google. So we need a city, right? Dental office in Chicago. Okay, lovely. So we're gonna find a dental office in Chicago, downtown dental.
Beautiful. Let's go to that one. And we're gonna open up the website. They have book online. There you go. They have the website right there. Beautiful. So we pull up the website, and what we're gonna do is pass that in to Claude. This is the business that we want to build the system for. After the system is built, the ads are live and the website is live, I am going to message them essentially with a short video showing them what I built and if they'd be interested in having this system that I built for them running. Beautiful. Okay, cool. So we're gonna go from here. We're gonna have a conversation and figure out, and Claude Code is gonna figure out how to get here. You don't even need to know what meta ads library is and all that stuff. But, you know, if you do want to differentiate, a little bit of domain expertise goes a long way. So they'll get educated on the system that attracts you, whether it's database reactivation, whether it's a speed to lead system where you're running the ads, speed to lead system where you're not running the ads. Maybe they're already running ads on Google, on Instagram, and they just have bad conversion rate. So the more specific you can be, the more you will resonate with them when you do reach out to them with the system that you're selling. So remember that you are not selling an agent, you're selling a system that generates revenue. That is what companies are buying nowadays. And systems sell for way more than single agents. And I know people running a system like this one and selling it for $6,000-$10,000, and then it runs by itself and it generates leads. But let's talk about pricing, because that is one of the big questions that people have. And before we go to pricing, I wanna give you the summary of everything that we've looked at. There is this Claude Code agency operations hub that I've created for the community and for you, so you can go get it by clicking in the first link below, getting the free trial in the community, and then just following the steps. And where you are going to start is in new project. So you're gonna click on new project, and you might share some details about your project. My project does this, these are the type of clients I want. I don't have any clients yet, but I would like to, find clients by messaging my warm network. So you start, and all you gotta do is two things: have curiosity and ask questions. How would we go about running ads, right? And you can just say it. How would we go about running these ads? How would we go about finding winner ads? You have a really, really powerful system in your hands right now. All you gotta do is curiosity and ask questions. What if we could build a system that dental clinics really want? What do they want? What are they missing? Those are the types of good questions that will lead you to find the right product for you and build the right system off of it.
So I'm recording this section of the video separately because I didn't know whether this was going to be finished on time or not. But everything that you've seen so far, the lead generation, the pipeline dashboard, the thing that you're actually going to build, contracts and proposals, everything that you've seen, I actually built for you to download very easily. This is an example dashboard, okay? And this is actually inside of a Claude Code project. If you've never seen GitHub in your life, that's okay. You're gonna have a link in the first link below that sends you to school. You're gonna find this link. And what you're going to be able to do is, in a Claude Code project, this can be in desktop, this can be in cursor, you're just gonna say clone this. And what's gonna happen is Claude is going to go get this project that is going to include absolutely everything, okay? We're talking understand where you are in your agency, and I'm gonna show you exactly what to type. Decide how you're gonna do your outreach. Actually do outreach, check messages, whether you chose Instagram or LinkedIn. It's going to help you as if it was your accountability co-founder and actually take actions for you. Now that we did all this, I'm just gonna say, where do I start? And it's gonna walk me
to a certain skill, okay, called the onboarding skill. This comes with absolutely everything, and I'm really, really excited about this. So I'm gonna start keep going here, and this skill is going to pop up actually in a separate conversation. This skill is going to pop up. We're gonna go like this. And what's going to happen next is going to ask me some questions. Where you are in your agency, what focus do you have? You can always answer, I don't know. But what's going to happen is going to understand where you are, help you plan a strategy for getting your next client, and really define what your agency is about. Where are you in your voice AI journey? Starting out, getting traction, scaling. Let's say getting traction. I'm going to make it so some pop-ups come up asking you the question so you can click instead of type. What's your agency called? You just keep going like this. At the end of this, you're going to have the exact same system that we use and that we have used to scale. So just to show you under the hood, this is level 1. You just ask, what do I do? Great. You might already have a significant project in mind, a significant system that you want to build, and you can just start out that way, right? You can just talk to the system. Hey, I have this system in mind that has A, B, C, a dashboard, CRM integration, and inbound and outbound voice agents, and I need to deliver it for a client that I already have. What do I do next? This is level 2. Where you already kind of have something that you want to build in mind. Great. It's going to do some recon, understand where you are, but it already has the context of how to be successful as a voice AI agency. I do suggest that you dig in. And then level 3 is actually understanding these commands, okay? There's 2 frameworks. How to build good things that last, properly deliver for clients. And I built a framework for you that includes absolutely everything that you need, okay? So from your onboarding to setting up a dashboard to planning your outreach and helping you execute it in whatever platform you choose. It's everything you need, and all you do is say, clone this project. That's that. And I know all of this can be very overwhelming. It's normal. That's why in the community, I'm going to do a kind of 0 to hero walkthrough of the whole platform, the dashboard, how to set everything up. We're going to do a specific workshop about it so you really know how to use it. If you want to, go jump off the cliff and start using it on your own, go ahead. But if you want to figure out how to use it best, I'd love to walk you through it step by step in the community. Now let's figure out how to price the system that you're going to build. So, how much do you sell that system for? Let's talk about pricing. So now let's talk about pricing. The first thing to consider is, what is the system that you are selling? I recommend 3 systems, and then we're going to talk about how to price those systems. High ticket SaaS is the AI employee. It covers inbound calls. It covers speed to lead. It has a native CRM integration. So it's essentially full lead management operations. That's how it generates money. It takes the calls from incoming leads, books the appointments. It calls the leads that filled out a form, and it books the appointment. And the thing is that it requires you to have a super clear ICP. And one of the differentiations that you could have is a deep CRM integration. So you have to make sure this will resonate only with the people that this feels like it was built for. Oh, I am a dentist that uses HubSpot and I am in Chicago. If you're like, yeah, so dentists, we have the system for you, that's not going to resonate. And they're definitely not going to pay $999 a month. There's the question of whether they need the inbound calls more than the outbound follow-ups to filled out lead forms. That's part of the research that you need to do. So go have conversations with the people that you think might want your system, and then go ask a lot of questions. But we're going to get to the discovery call and how to gather that information in the next module. Next is the full system. Generate leads with ads. The AI books the appointments, follows up with them, makes sure they get to the appointments.
And then you can sell for quite a bit more. So $999 for 3 months, right? It's a very
all-in offer. It's very clear it's going to be $6,000 for this service for 3 months.
If they want to continue later, then they can. Or the other approach you can take once you have had some successes. Don't do this outright off the bat. You might end up losing a lot of money because you need to make sure that your offer is good and that you learn from the mistakes of building. It's just very natural. I'm happy to help you skip a lot of those mistakes, and that's what we do in the community. But this can be really attractive because the user only pays for results. The user only pays for proof that it works. So the ads to book the appointment system from the last module. So you manage the Meta ads or the Google ads. They pay for the ads, but you manage them. How do you create ads? How do you run them? Those are all great questions for Claude Code. The AI calls the leads, it qualifies them, handles objections, and books directly on the client's calendar. And the client only sees the booked appointments. It's very straightforward. You can choose whether you go flat monthly fee or per appointment, but I do recommend that you start with $9.99 a month for 3 months. And finally, database reactivation. I'm super, super bullish on this use case. It's zero risk for the client, and you can make a lot of money if their lead list is the right size and the right quality. So this is different. This is a $0 setup, and you only charge for qualified appointments. Again, very easy for somebody to say yes. Does it have to be $0 setup? That's not usually what I recommend, but I want to show you how different money models really resonate different for different systems. So I want you to consider that $0 setup, and then you can decide whether you charge $199, $499, or more. But let's start here because it's very attractive for the end client. It's very easy for a client to say yes to this. The AI calls old or cold leads in their CRM. They only pay for qualified booked appointments. It's a success guarantee by default, or they pay nothing. And then a lot of businesses have thousands of untouched leads that they actually never called or never called more than once. It's a very easy offer to start with. And it works with, pretty much every business that has a CRM with dead leads, which is most of them. But the risk is on you. If you don't really iterate on your voice agent, if you don't test before calling thousands of leads and it sucks, you might end up losing money. Today, we're not talking about building. That's what the community is for. But keep this in mind because it can go wrong, of course, as any of these systems. But if we're thoughtful and we design this with a certain client in mind that we know we can help, and then we have one successful pilot, this can work very well. Now, these are separate offers. These 3 shouldn't be on your website. These are the 3 things that you offer. It's going to confuse people. Just one. You have one system that you sell. You show the value and the result that it has generated. That is what your website is going to become. How do you create a website? You know the answer to that. Claude Code. So choose the one that resonates most. And then you're going to go build a demo for it. And this is something that is very, very important to keep in mind. This is something that I've learned from Alex Hormozi, and it's this money models concept. So you have 4 types of levers that you can pull to nudge a client, to say yes to your offer. Most people think that the offer is this one price that they see, but it's a lot more than that. So let's go through the 4 of them. The first is the attraction offer. Something about your offer that makes it easy for people to say yes. For example, database reactivation, $0 setup, very easy to say yes. Free AI audit, very easy to say yes. Success guarantee, no risk, very easy to say yes. So what is the attraction component of your offer? Then upsell. From reactivation, if the database reactivation goes well, you can tell them, hey, well, would you like to have this online for leads as soon as they come in, as opposed to old leads? There's proof that it works that much better when the lead is fresh. You might want to add inbound after hours. Maybe somebody you call a dead lead, and then they might call back later, but there's nobody there to answer. Inbound after hours. It's the McDonald's "do you want fries with that" version of having of upselling a system. So you have the burger, and then you can sell the Coke, you can sell the fries on top of that. Number 3, downsells. This is when, the client might not actually want the full system. They already running ads. They don't want you to run ads for them. They're already doing that. So you start stripping features. Oh, okay, no worries. We won't run ads. So we can actually charge you half, which might be this system without even the inbound, because you price anchored them at $1999. What are you removing from the system that they're saying that they don't need? So you don't get a no. It's a no, but if you don't charge me for the CRM integration, or the other way around, if I don't charge you for the CRM integration, you can save $500 a month. Because if you don't need it, I don't want to charge you for it. And then you might offer per appointment instead of the flat fee. So downsells are all about don't discount the price, rather remove a feature, and then you can sell it for lower. And finally, continuity. How does database reactivation get you paid now and forever? Well, database reactivation is the same thing as speed to lead. The only difference is database reactivation are old leads, speed to lead is new leads. So that's the concept of continuity. Now you can start charging monthly for contacting leads and closing those leads. And that one-time offer of database reactivation, when you get through the full list, is very easy to transition. Do you want to keep running the system, but even more effectively? And that's one way to transition into a high-ticket SaaS from a one-time offer. I strongly recommend that you go read 100 Million Money Models. They have a lot that you can use on live calls to negotiate, to close the sales. However, we're not there yet. We just talked about pricing. Let's jump into the discovery call. So you message some of your friends. They do know a dentist. They do get you in touch with them, and they agree to jumping on a call. How do you run that discovery call? What do you ask? Avoid trying to pitch what you do. I can make you money because my system does this and this. People absolutely hate that. And then you're going to ruin 2 relationships, this new person and then the relationship that you have with the friend in common. Instead, there's this concept called the mom test. So let me introduce you to the mom test. Every discovery call starts with warmth, starts with wanting to create a connection with somebody. And before we get to step 1, actually step 0 is creating rapport. What do you have in common? Why do you think that they jumped into this call? If you can find a point in common, then you can start creating rapport, and through rapport, you can start creating connection. I'm going to show you 2 versions of a discovery call. The first one, where you don't have any clients yet, you're doing some market research and trying to find that first client. And then the other one, well, you already have clients, and then it's more of a professional flow to increase conversion rate. Hey, so tell me more about how you know David. And they might tell you a funny story. They might just be, yeah, it's a coworker. We worked together for a little bit. So what do you do? Any point in common is going to be highly fruitful. So please don't forget the human. Then, number 1. Cool. So yeah, thanks for taking time. Daily was great in connecting us. And I just want you to know that I'm not here to pitch you on anything. I genuinely want to understand how your business handles incoming calls. And I'd like to also know, if you know how other dental clinics handle their incoming calls. So you're here to get information. You're just asking questions. Then we can move on to the mom test questions. This is based on a book that is really good on how to create connections with potential users of your product when you're early on in that product. So you can go get the book, but I'm gonna summarize it for you, which is You want to avoid hypothetical questions, would you ever questions, and then very generalistic questions like how many calls do you miss per month? They probably don't know. Instead, we want to get tangible and in the present or very recent past. What happens today when a lead calls and nobody answers? Tell me about the last time that happened. And did that person end up becoming a client? These are guiding questions that are going to be incredible information for you. Do they have a system in place? What happened, not ideally, not what does the process say, but what happened last time? So if they have a process, but the process fails, then that is incredible information for you. And did that person end up becoming a client? It digs into the pain point of, oh, wait, this broken system is actually losing us money. And then you're still not going to pitch, okay? You're just going to keep going. You have two options, okay? If there is a real pain, you can demo it. You can also not demo it. That is up to you, and you gotta check the vibe. The more discovery calls that you do, the better it'll go. But if you said that you're looking for feedback on an early product, yeah, go ahead and demo it. And it might resonate with them. They might tell you, oh yeah, that looks nice, but it doesn't look like what we need. And then you can have questions of like, well, what do you feel like your business needs? Or what is it missing that would be important for a clinic like yours? And when it comes to demoing your product, you really just want to say like, well, let me show you something. You want to keep it casual. Don't go into pitch mode. And this agent will take all of your calls and you will make money. Forget about that. Clients will trust you because they see the human in you. And yeah, because when you demo it, it'll show value. So keep it very focused, right? I'm building a system that hopefully will help clinics book more appointments. And this is what that looks like. And then you call the agent, and keep in mind, 80% of demos fail. 80% of live demos fail. It's a bit of a curse, and it's just something that happens. Just laugh it off, just move on. And then what you want to do is demo it, and then have them call the agent. Okay, so you call your agent, your system. Ideally, you have something visual. Maybe a website, maybe it's just the phone number that you're calling. And then you give them the phone number. It's like, hey, would you mind calling it and trying out the same scenario that I just did as if you were a patient? That experience can be really, really powerful. Because now they're not just watching. It's like they're watching a video of you doing something that they don't quite get yet. When they call it themselves, after they watched you, then they can have their own experience. So that's why you'll run the discovery call if you don't yet have a client and you're still getting familiar with the industry that you want to sell into. You'll gather incredible information that will help you solidify your offer. But if you already have your offer, if you already have a client, this is how I want you to run the discovery call. 6 steps. First, warm up, set the agenda. You're going for more professionalism. You're not asking for permission to pitch. Here's a few phrases that will help you kind of like understand that concept. Okay. But you're leading the flow. That's what's important. Understand their world. Okay. This is not the mom test. You already gathered information. You already understand their world. If you miss, then you miss. But this is who this is for. People that are dental clinics that are already running ads and they are this size and they have this pain point. If that is you, well, then I think we can help you. You're not exploring, you are confirming that this is actually the right person for your system. You already know their pain from the outreach. Now get them to say it out loud. Walk me through what happens when. How many of those leads turn into paying clients? What's your biggest bottleneck? What have you tried to fix it? So you are essentially getting them to voice out loud how big their issue is. That's going to give you information to understand, yes, these are qualified leads. I'm not wasting my time. They're not wasting theirs. Then the live demo. So you're gonna, if you have something visual, share your screen. If you don't, then
you're essentially going to say, let me show you what it looks like for a business like yours.
You're going to call your agent, let them hear it, put a speakerphone, make sure your Zoom settings for audio
are not blocking noise. There are 1,000 things that can go wrong, but if you come to the community
during build hours, we love doing these live demo practices. So you make sure that you're coming to that client call sharp.
If the call fails, you should always say, this is a demo environment. The production version is tuned to your specific business.
That's what I get paid for. Essentially tweaking the system to make sure it works for you.
And either way, you want to say, at the end of the call, that's where your customers would experience at 9 p.m. on a Tuesday when they call in and nobody's in the office. So remember, 80% of live demos had issues. They just quote from one calls. As you mentioned, I've had demos fail on live sales calls. The world didn't come crashing down. You're fine.
The demo doesn't close the deal. Your confidence does. That's why practice is so important. And then you will show the results. So if you already had clients, you've already delivered, you already maybe have a dashboard, pull it up. The call finishes, and then you essentially say something like, every call generates a report like this one. Shows caller name, call duration, sentiment, a summary of the call. And you see exactly what happened, what was said, and what
action was taken. No more guessing.
And always remember to focus on the value, not the features. It's not about how beautiful your dashboard is. It's that it generates booked appointments that generate money. You're selling visibility and control into their sales process. And that goes out for a lot more than $49 a month, AI receptionist. So you're selling something that is very hard to buy, that visibility, that control, and the booked appointments.
And finally, second to last, present the offer. Based on what you told me
and what you just saw, here's what I'd recommend. If you have different tiers for your system, always present the more expensive tier first. But and then you can always just present the lower price one. That's a Hormozy strategy, which is price anchoring up here, so it's much easier for them to say yes to the offer down here. We can say most of our clients are with Pro because they want the full CRM integration and the full value of the system from day one.
But if you want to test the water first, we can remove the CRM integration and we'll charge you half.
So you can give them the option. Don't be too quick to lower your price. I know I did not fully cover tiers in this, but I hope it's intuitive to you where tiers come in, right? Only inbound or only outbound instead of both. And you might charge $699 for inbound or outbound, but $999 for both. Then they might want both, but they might not want the CRM integration. And that's where money models comes in. You downsell the CRM integration, you still charge a high number, but they feel like they're getting a deal by not getting the CRM integration. So we present the offer, and then we ask for the close. There are a few different ways to do it. Here are three that I recommend. There's the direct one. Hey, based on everything you've told me, I think the Pro is right for you. They might have a back and forth. I have some objection handling below. And then you want to always think about this next step. You want me to send over the agreement today?
The 1 to 10, this one I really like. This one's my favorite. From 1 to 10, how ready are you? And if they say anything under 10,
you just want to ask, okay, well, what would get you there? That's where objections start coming up. Don't freeze when objections come up. It's totally normal, and I'll show you how to handle them. And then the BAM fam. This is cool. So you always want to book a meeting from a meeting. You never want to say, I'll send you an email after the meeting. Or if they say, yeah, I'll follow up with you. That does not jive, okay? So that's where deals die. Book the meeting before you hang up. If they're like, well, I'm not sure what my calendar looks like next week.
No problem. Mine is a little crazy too. But since they're a little crazy, let's a couple tentative times, Tuesday at 2 or Thursday at 10. Would either work for you? You want to keep them tentative. And then you kind of book both times, you follow up, and then you just have those booked in, and then you can just eliminate one of them. much harder to create a new booking through email than to confirm which one to delete. So we're asking for the close, and when they push back, it's too expensive. I hear you. Let me ask, what is a missed call worth to your business? You mentioned it's around $4,000 per client, and if you're missing 3 calls a week, that's this is too fast of a number. But that's $12,000 a month. That is tough. Our system costs a fraction of that, and it gives you the peace of mind, not only the client. It's all about remaining calm, watching your tonality, taking a deep breath, and answering. Remember the value that they will gain by having your system, but remind them of the value they will lose if they don't have it. I need to think about it. Absolutely. What specifically are you thinking about? Is it the investment, the technology? Let's talk through it. And either way, let's follow up. Let's book a follow up for Thursday. So there are a few others out here that you can go get. You can pause and read them out loud. These are all inspired by Hormozy. And objections are not objections; they're fears. You can never beat fear with logic. You wanna beat fear with empathy. And always go with hey, I get it. Yeah, that makes sense. And that is a piece of advice from the great coach Dan Gordon. Thank you, Dan, for all the awesome advice you've given us. So after the call, the deal is not done until the money hits your bank account. How do we get you there? Send a recap email. Summarize what you discussed, what you showed, the next step. Claude Code can help with this. Send the SOW or the contract with that email. And the next day, you might want to send, don't be like, hey, did this get buried in your inbox? No. You want to lead with value. What can be valuable? A 2-minute Loom walkthrough of their specific proposal. Hey, so I put together a quick walkthrough because I want to make this very easy for you. Making things easy, making things faster. They don't have to think about too much. Those are all things that we can consider as value. I want to add this bonus for you. Says I enjoyed so much talking with you. We're going to do this on top of all that for free. Lead with value. There are some other follow-ups. Focus on leading with value. Sometimes it's simply not the right timing. So don't keep pressuring them. If it's 7 to 14 days and they're just not really responding, that's okay. But leverage Claude Code to get your tone right. Not a Claude Code message, but help it figure out what your tone sounds like. And I am super bullish on Looms. I really like them, and they make the other person feel more connected. Setting realistic expectations to you, it takes a while to close, especially at the beginning, especially before you have like a process that you can rely on, that you can that works. But this process that I've shown you so far works really well. So you have the discovery call and the demo. The follow-up, maybe you have to meet another decision maker like a wife or a business partner. Then you'll have the objections, the review. You might have some objections here. Maybe it's the contract review. So 3 to 4 meetings is when how long it usually takes, especially for deals of this size. And then some things that you need to keep in mind is don't pitch features, pitch outcomes. It's the amount of new bookings they'll be able to get, not how the agent works. Nobody cares how the agent works, unless they specifically ask you, and then they are a rare being. Control the frame, okay? You set the agenda. They start asking you a bunch of questions. They start saying, they start butting in with like a bunch of things that are coming to their mind. You need to take control of the conversation. Silence is very much a weapon. Ask a question and then shut up. And when you ask for the close, then you shut up. And yeah, it's very true. 5 seconds can feel like an eternity for you and for them, but it works. It's actually really beautiful how well it works. And then dress well. Don't show up with a hoodie. They picture the AI guy as a guy in a hoodie who's informal, and it's not a good look. Wear a shirt to the discovery call. at the very least, and things will work out better. Okay, your discovery checklist. This is things for you to keep in mind before the call, research, having the demo agent, all that stuff. During the call and after the call, you can go ahead and pause and read through these. You can also go get this artifact, so you always have these handy. And now it's time for the actual close. There are more dimensions to the close than just this discovery call. There might be another call that you jump into for, they looked at the demo, they looked at your SOW, they might still have some questions. You obviously booked a meeting from that discovery call. So this is the call that you booked. You jump and you're ready for the close. There's no trick. It's a skill. It takes practice. Okay, you can learn it. It's funny how bad close rate is for cold outreach, but after a discovery call, we've had about 1 out of 2 close. And what is the difference is the 8 modules I just walked you through. Really, it's everything that we've done, everything that we've tried, everything that works. So here are 5 closing frameworks that could really help you. The 1 to 10 close we already looked at is from 1 to 10, how ready are you to move forward? If it's anything less than a 10, we say what would get you to a 10. If it's an 8 or a 9, you can assume that's a yes. You can simply ask, what final questions do you have? Then the 3 endings. Every conversation can end up in a yes, can end up in a no, or in a next. I'll think about it is not a no. It just means you need to book the next meeting. It just means that they have objections. What are those objections? You need to go find out. Don't leave things here. You have to book a meeting. Otherwise, the emails back and forth to arrange a meeting sucks. That's where deals go to die. The Hormozy close, here's some advice. If you haven't read the book, definitely go check it out. Stacking value, right? This is all you get. You get this and this and that. And then all of that for only $17.99. Try not to sound like a marketing message. How do you do that is you make it relevant to them. Hey, you mentioned that this is the most important thing for you, the speed to lead agent, to stop, missing leads after they fill out a form on your ads. Well, you're also going to get this, and that. This is the value is going to deliver, and all of that is going to be $1,799. Then guarantee, you can always offer a guarantee. Bonuses, I love adding bonuses, like from the goodness of your heart, not because it wouldn't close the sale otherwise, but because hey, we actually could do also this for you, and I'm happy to not charge you extra. I just think that it would deliver a lot of value. They will value you for it. And finally, urgency. There's sleazy ways to do urgency. There's nice ways to do urgency. This in particular, I don't love. I can take 2 new clients this month. But there are tactful ways to go about it. Each build takes my full attention. So if you wanna be one of those 2 clients that I have capacity for this month, I just need to know this week. Then the consultant close is essentially show them the math. Okay, you mentioned this, you mentioned that, you mentioned that this is the value that you're losing, and do you think that would be worth exploring? They can come to the answer of, ooh, I want this product on their own. Because it's a little more advanced because you need to know when to rescind control in a sense. But yeah. And then this is very counterintuitive, but it's essentially you telling them that they're not the right fit. Your call volume might be too low to justify the investment, but here's what I'd recommend. When you are willing to walk away, 2 things happen. They respect you more, and they often chase. And what that can look like is hey, well, I said I didn't want the speed to lead agent, but how much would you charge me for only the AI receptionist? So if you're willing to walk away, you subconsciously essentially keep the power in the conversation. And it comes across. It's not only subconscious, it is actually really beautiful. Okay, so you got the yes. Now what? Within the hour, you want to cancel everything in your calendar. You send that SOW. You work with Claude Code. You scope it out. This is what you said you wanted. This is what you said you didn't want. This is what I'm delivering. You send that email. or the contract if you're at that stage. Then you want to collect the deposit. I recommend doing 50% upfront, but that really depends on your system, your money model. Unfortunately, there was a situation with one of our students that kind of happened where they got ghosted after they essentially built the system. So we'll see how that happens, but not very fun. We also ran a no setup pricing at one point and very much regretted it, but there were other issues with our offer. So there's many layers to this, and this is why this won't take 30 days like most people will tell you. This will take many months to really get right. Then the kickoff call, you want to have, within a week, you want to get the CRM credentials, phone numbers, knowledge base. What do they want for the greeting for the start of the call? When is their business hours? Who do we transfer the call if the user wants to speak to a human? Those are the essential things that you need to get during a kickoff call. And then finally, you build and you launch. Claude Code will help you accelerate this. It used to take 1 to 2 months, and now it takes a few days. But you do want to test thoroughly, especially your first few clients. Review every call after during the first month. Make sure that you are delivering absolute quality. And then the first check-in. This is after 7 days after you launched, where you want to come prepared with all the logs from the calls, how many appointments got booked, examples of good calls, examples of things that you're working on that might have not gone well with a lead. And then you want to upsell, right? If you're doing database reactivation, hey, this is going really well. I could start working on the live database reactivation that actually calls leads as soon as they sign up into your lead form. So you want to start thinking about an upsell the moment you sign that client. But it'll be much harder for you to close clients if you make these mistakes. So here are the top 5 mistakes. I've made these. My students have done these, and here are the lessons. Building before selling, okay? You get very excited. Yes, go build a demo, and you want to play with the technology. You should play with the technology. You should have that curiosity. But don't get obsessed with how perfect your system needs to be before you've even sold it. Because what if you're building the wrong thing? And that is what happens. You get very excited, you go build a full system, and then it turns out nobody really wants it. Next is saying yes to bad clients. Not all money is the same money. As the wise coach Zach said, some checks you have to refuse. Clients will mow you over like a bulldozer. If you're getting bad vibes from a client, but you really want the money, you are going to suffer more from saying yes and having to deal with them than saying no and learning from it, learning what a bad client feels like, and it will lead you to finding better clients. It's not that you're refusing money. You are refusing money, but it's not like you're losing money. In fact, you will probably make more money by having enough more time of not having to deal with a bad client, more energy from not having to deal with a bad client, and you'll be able to move on to the next upsell with good clients that are easy to deal with. They don't have crazy expectations, and when you manage their expectations, they don't go like, well, no, but I want everything. You have to build everything. It's like, oh my God, it sucks. And it will cause more pain than benefit. Even if it's a lot of money, especially if it's a lot of money. Then not booking the next meeting. This is the most common mistake, right? The prospect says, yeah, I'll reach back out to you. Just send me the contract in an email. I'll reach back out. Send me the demo in an email. I'll reach back out. So you want to reverse the friction. The friction should be to cancel the meeting, right? So if they really don't know, if they insist that they don't know what their schedule is going to look like, you support that. Yeah, my schedule is crazy too. But I could do Tuesday morning, 10 a.m. or Thursday, 3 p.m. What if you look both of those in, and then over the weekend you tell me which one you can't make? So you're being cooperative, but you're getting what you need, which is booking that next meeting.
Not getting money up front is another issue. If they won't pay, they're not serious. And that is very true. So you have to be very careful with choosing whether or not to do a setup fee. If you're doing essentially, database reactivation and only charging for the booked appointments, then you have to be very careful. So at least charge a little bit, and then you can also charge for the booked appointments.
And finally, in between pricing. It's your first client. You just wanted to say yes, but you
You don't want to get your work for free. I know that feeling. Everybody knows that feeling. But
the awesome Zach, his first project quoted $250.
and what happened? It took 3 months. It was a bad client. And he says it was pure pain. You can't hire a developer to finish it because you don't have the money and you're stuck doing the work because they paid the money, even if it was a very little amount. So you have to do it free or properly valued, not in between, because it will kill you.
And now that you learned some of these mistakes, let's talk about the number game,
Because this is a numbers game. You have to do a lot of discovery calls, and most of them will not close. In fact, 1 out of 4 might close after the first discovery call. So about 20 out of about 20 calls per month, you might get around 10 that they want you to send a proposal. 4 to 6 might close. How do you get 20 discovery calls? Well, we looked at it.
in the warm outreach, which is the easier type of outreach, way easier than cold.
If you send 100 messages, you might expect 3 to 5 discovery calls. And out of that, 1 or 2 might become clients.
I would lean your expectations to the lower end.
2 out of 20 discovery calls, you might close 1 in 5, right? So 4 total closed. And this is where the other part of the numbers game comes up.
There are 2 scenarios. How do we get you to $10,000 a month? If you get 5 clients that each pay $2,000 a month, that's 10K already.
I know this number seems daunting at first, but it is much, I'm not going to use the word easy. It's much simpler of a path than you think.
And then for scenario B is you might have a high setup fee and then a low monthly fee. This is less attractive to the market at first because they pay a bunch of money and then they still depend on you, on you hosting the service. They still pay you monthly. This is a bit of an in-between as well. So choose high monthly or high setup fee. One of the two is what I would say. Similar to how we talked about it here, $1,999 per month for 3 months. It's actually $6,000 setup fee. You're just making it more attractive by splitting it up. So you can say this is $6,000. And then one of the money models in breaking it up into payment plans, that can be one type of downsell. And in the next module, we're going to tackle how we get you here. Then, we're talking about bad clients and good clients. You know what really attracts good clients? You being transparent. Transparent about when it's not a fit. When with very low call volume, you might be better off with $49 a month and move on. That type of person is much more likely to come back or refer you to somebody else who does have a real issue that you could help with. So tell them when it's not a fit. Don't be desperate for the money. The money will come, but it will take time and it will take investment. As I told you at the beginning, if you're not willing to wait and if you're not willing to put money and effort into your business, this is not going to work for you. Set expectations of the technology. Okay, so this is important. People think that AI is perfect because it's really advanced. Yes, it's really advanced, but it's far from perfect. What value are you bringing? The value that you bring is not that the agent answers the questions from the knowledge base perfectly 100% of the times. No. The value that you're adding is that it helps the business not miss the lead. It helps the business reach out the moment that somebody fills out the form. That is what generates money, not how accurately it answered from the knowledge base. So part of the setting expectations is telling them the truth that AI is not perfect. But through the first month after we launch, we're going to learn things from your users
that we couldn't guess while we're building it. And then we integrate that as feedback back into the agent to make it that much better. For every negative, there's a positive, very much. You just got to find the right framing.
Sales is all about framing. And then share your real numbers. These are one of the numbers that we have from a client, well, arguably our best client. So these are really easy to flaunt. But when you have proof, simply just like a free pilot where you ran 50 calls, it's better than zero. So share your real numbers. You don't need to make things up. And as Paige says, being honest about the technology, saying no when you need to, being willing to say, I might not be the best fit. It's scary, but it builds trust that closes deals months later. Now, the closing toolkit. This is part of what you'll have access to in your Claude project. So over here, you'll find a bunch of templates that you can have the Claude Code leverage, like a pricing calculator to build a website, closing scripts, all onboarding checklists. So Claude Code will be able to leverage all of this to help you out. I highly recommend that you get used to this, and it all really starts with questions. Hey, how does the objection playbook work, right? How can you help me create a website? It's all about asking questions. So where will you find all this? You will find it in the Affinity, right up here at the top. When you click the link below, it'll send you to the About page. There's a free trial, and you can come get all your free stuff. Highly valuable, thousands of dollars and 2 years of work, 2.5 years of work. But this is my duty. This is my duty to help others be able to create what we have created. So you have now learned everything I know about selling voice AI systems. Now you just have to do it. So let's get to my favorite part, which is getting stuff done. Your 90-day plan from $0 to $10,000. And no, this is actually not a 90-day plan, but this is 90 days worth of actions that will help you create the right habits, learn the right things, to then be able to draw the map to $10,000 a month. In reality, it will take anywhere from 6 to 12 months. The first 90 days is really about building the habits, perfecting your product. Yes, you will find clients throughout, but if you're starting from scratch, give yourself 6 to 12 months to reach 10K a month. If you already have some traction, proof, you have a network that's already interested, you might hit it in 2 months, 4 months. But as you saw, there's a lot involved in building a successful business. And this doesn't even take on the delivering for clients. That's what the 7-hour masterclass really hits on, right? CRM integrations, multiple agents, inbound, outbound, database reactivation. So I strongly suggest that you go check that out once you have actually gotten your first client. That's going to show you everything that you need in order to build and deliver for that client. But I want to still give you a map, a straight direction for you to be able to get to the 10K a month. And it starts with month 1 foundations. You're going to choose a use case, okay? Get speed to lead, after hours, or database reactivation. There's probably already one that resonated more with you. Then choosing your niche. We talked about it in module 3. It is not permanent, but it will give you an idea of what you're even looking for, who you're looking for. And if you know who you're looking for, then your friends will have clarity on what you're looking for. Write your I help statement to get clarity on what is the value that you deliver, how you deliver that value, and what you're avoiding then, the pain of having to hire somebody new, etc. Build one demo agent, just one, that does enough to show somebody who might be interested. Set up Claude Code is going to help you all around from the beginning up until you get to 10K and then scale past 10K. You're going to make a list of 50 warm contacts and send 30 messages, okay? That's for month 1. You're also going to send 50 LinkedIn connections. I strongly suggest that you do the second connections and ask for introductions. It's going to make your life so much easier. To some of those, some of those will accept your request. Some of those won't. Just send 5 personalized looms
It'll get the nerves off of putting your facing camera, and it'll force you to say the thing. Will they be perfect? No. The point is that you do it, that you create the habit. Of these 80 messages or 80 connections requests, I guess, you will expect to book 3 to 5 discovery calls, maybe 1 or 2, and those are super valuable. Record them, make sure you watch them afterwards. I know it can be super cringy. Just watch them afterwards because it's gonna give you invaluable information, experience, and self-feedback on where are your rooms for improvement. Did you ask a question and then keep talking? Did you do the demo and not let them do the demo? All those things you can't really self-reflect on in the moment or just by yourself. So watch that recording. Did you forget to book the meeting? Or did you say, hey, we should book the next meeting? And they tell you, sure, what for? And then you froze. Okay, great. That's something to learn from. So bam, fam. And then after those first 30 days, you can expect to have your first client. As long as you're doing this full time every day. And 80 is really just to start with. It might take you 200, 300, 400 messages to get your first client. Some people do it in 10 messages. Some people takes 500. So that you don't decide. But what you can decide is finding your edge, right? Choosing the niche, committing, building something worth showing, and then rewatching this whole thing where you're going to get more the second time that you did the first time. Then month 2, it's all about proof, right? You've earned the right to really charge. So right now, after this month 1, you got your first client. This might still be 0 for you if you did it for free. It might be 500. But you got that proof, which is the important thing. It gives you the right to charge. You deliver for the first client, you get a video testimonial that you can put on your website, that you can put in your LinkedIn, and you build the proof stack. It's essentially a case study with numbers. We received 200 calls, so we made 200 calls. This is how many booked appointments were achieved, and this is how much money those appointments generated. Set a paid pricing using money models. You can take the suggestions from these 3 systems and then tweak them to what resonates with you, or come to the community to ask questions based on your unique situation. And now that you have proof, you can start cold outreach. I do strongly suggest that you get through all your sources of warm contacts, right? LinkedIn, calendar, WhatsApp groups, WhatsApp contacts, Instagram, phone contacts. Once you get through all of those, I suggest you going into cold. But I would understand why after that first client, you would want to do cold. You have the proof, you're allowed. Now, you can go and close, anywhere from 1 to 3 paid clients during month 2. Those are the conservative numbers. You might end up closing more since you have the proof. And finally, you can refine your I help statement. You could end up changing niches. You could end up changing use cases. Don't do it too early, but I do suggest that you kind of in month 2 decide what is the niche that you're really going to scale. Because not having one product, one type of client that you can deliver for, instead like, yeah, I do voice agent systems and I could do it for anybody. That's going to make it much harder for somebody to understand what you do, what value you bring, and for them to say yes. So refining that I help statement also includes choosing the niche that you're going to stick with. So at the end of that month 2, you'll be around 2,500. Again, this is all if you already have like a little bit of traction. Otherwise, it's going to take you longer. But you could expect, if you get all of these things done, to be at 2,500 a month. And then in months 3 to 6 is where we compound what is already working. Has LinkedIn outreach worked excellently for you? Okay, great. Double that volume. And then the month after that, double it again. And then the month after that, you double it again. So this is where we really go into, we have proof, we know it works, we choose the niche, we have the system, we just have to replicate it. Great. Now it's all about sales. So keep doubling outreach volume every month. Upsell to existing clients. So you're gonna and understand new needs that they have, new issues that they have, because now you know your clients. And if they're in the same industry, their pain points might actually be similar. So if one tells you one thing, you can go verify in a conversation with your other client if they also have that pain point. And then you'll be able to start reusing certain systems like proposal templates. Although you do have the system, you will change some things, right? Your contract might look a little different because it also includes running ads, not only a voice agent. Track your pipeline. You need to track your numbers. How many messages did you send? How many calls did you book? And how many of those did you close? At least those numbers. Because you will have issues in your sales pipeline. And if you're not tracking your numbers, then you can't identify those issues. And Claude Code can definitely help you with this. And then attend one industry conference. At this point, you have some money to invest into back into your business. And attending conference is probably the best use of your money. Why? Because it'll give you data that you can get in person, and it'll also help you get clients. But you can only really have one Zoom call at a time. In a conference, you can have 20, 30, 50 conversations in one day, and 10 of those conversations might actually be with people that are your ICP, your ideal customer profile. And then from those people, you can start asking questions, right? In the mom test version, where it's like, is this an issue that you face? You might figure out, wait, it's not dental clinics that I'm going after, it's dental clinic franchises that I'm going after. So you're gonna get information that through Zoom calls, you just won't be able to get, and you'll warm up cold clients. Now they know you, they've shaken your hand, they've had a cool conversation with you, they'll be much more willing to buy from you. And this is optional, but strongly recommended. Find a business partner. You might want to only focus on sales. You might be strongly leaning to focus on building. Once you do all of this, you'll be at a stage where your business is defined, and finding a business partner that you actually resonate with, even before getting to 10K, 2K, 3K a month. But finding a business partner is really going to allow you to scale beyond. You can't do everything alone. That's why, that's literally why we have this community, because we realized, wait, people can't do this alone. People can't learn prompting, CRMs, telephony, and also selling by themselves. So where people have found business partners to run agencies with is the community as well. And you will find friends, business partners, and people to learn alongside with. And after that, congratulations, you've hit $10,000 a month, which is no small feat. So how do we get to that? Path A I showed you is 5 to 10 clients paying $1,000 to $2,000 per month. Path B is 1 or 2 clients, which pay a 5 or 10K setup. But this is one time, meaning next month, you have to go find 1, 2 clients again. And then the next one, you have to find 1, 2 clients again. If you're doing database reactivation, this might be what it looks like. You book 100 appointments in that month, you make $5,000, but then you have to do it again next time. Oh, speed to lead agent. So now you can sell a monthly subscription for that speed to lead agent or speed to lead system that calls leads as soon as they come in. Conversion rate is higher. Now you're making more money recurringly. And you don't have to do this alone. There's in the community builders looking for sellers and sellers looking for builders all the time. And it is our experience that the based agencies are 2-person teams because they can complement each other. But I'm gonna be honest with you, there's a lot that Claude Code can do today that it couldn't a year ago. That is going to unlock you. It's going to move you beyond what you thought was possible if you have curiosity, ambition, and determination. The curiosity to ask a lot of questions and good questions. The determination to stick with it as long as it will take. And the ambition to dream, like, how can I change this industry? And how big can I dream? So if you want accountability, live coaching on sales and building, incredible workshops like the one I showed you from Amber. We have 4 live sessions every week. We have a classroom full of incredible lessons, including a build, sell, and deliver roadmap that you'll have access to, where we go much deeper with workshops and lessons on each of every single thing that I showed you. So, Art of the Discovery Call. This is not a 5-minute topic. This goes really deep. We've done several workshops on running discovery calls and how to run them, how to close, how to write proposals, how to find the right market and niche for you. So come to the community, join us. I'm really excited to meet you. And if all you do is come to the community, get the resources, join one build hours just to say hi, I'll be really appreciative because I know that I am making an impact. So thank you. If you found this useful, please hit subscribe because it helps us show this to other people. Put something in the comments, maybe something that you learned, maybe a question that you have. I'll be happy to answer. And remember that you know exactly what your first step is. And if you already have the niche and the use case, great. You know exactly what your next step is. The map is right here. Follow it and you will find success. Thank you. And remember to never stop prompting.